Hey, welcome back to my channel. It is Christian here, and you're tuned in for more of my 2 cents. Now, we have been on a roll, okay? I am excited about all of the great things that are going on here on the channel. We're growing. I am excited about the community growing and developing. I feel like there is so much to be discussed and talked about. You would think that I would have run out of topics by now, but I have not. And we're like on video number 50 something, child. It's giving yes. I love it. I love it because it's truth. It's truth, and I have stayed true to my intent and my purpose from the beginning, which was not to beat people with scripture and to, try to over accommodate and seem perfect and knowledgeable on all things biblical, but just to have some real life on life dialogue, conversation about topics and concerns that a lot of people will never touch because they're afraid. They feel like, they're going against the word of God or the church, or, some evil thing will happen to them if they discuss things that really do affect them in their everyday lives on their spiritual journey. And so I've just decided to leave, the hurt in my past, to leave the fear in my past, and to address these things and to talk about these things and share my 2 cents based off of my experiences. I'm not here to lie, to shed light, or expose anything, but I am here to just ask for simple logic to be used. What would you do? How do you feel about that? Do you think that this makes sense? How does that sound? Why are you still doing it? Right? If somebody presents something to you that you don't always hear or see, it might spark something else to just trigger off and kind of have a domino effect for you to do more research for self, because that's not something that's highly accepted or allowed in church. Self-thought. You just self-taught by themselves teaching you. Anyway, before we start on any video or any topic, I always like to start with 3 important points. Number 1, you are not alone. Number 2, you are not crazy. Number 3, God, your creator, still loves you. Boop, boop. Okay, so today's topic is not really a topic. It's a story time. And this is going to be fun because I get to recount these occurrences like fresh off the dome, because this is how it happened. And I haven't done a story time in a while, but I enjoyed them. And I have a lot of story times that I can share, you guys, but I just don't, because I just would hate for some of these people to find this channel and be like, damn, she's talking about me. It's my truth and you shouldn't have did that shit. So, you content if you did it. That's all I'm saying. And it's the same thing for me. I am a firm believer in, if you don't want people to tell their story, and if you don't want people to tell the role that you played in their story, you should have did something different. The only thing that you have the power to change in another person's story is the role you played in it. Snaps, because that's true. The only thing you can control about a person's story is the role you play in it. So choose wisely right now. Like, are you the villain? Are you the victim? Are you the victor? Are you the helper? Are you the problem? What's the role? And I know everybody's perception is different, but I'm just saying some of us can be very cognizant of what we're doing to other people and how it would be portrayed if they ever had to recount it to anybody else. And here I am to recount some of my situations, and let me just say, it's not looking good for some of y'all. So if y'all creep up on these videos, God bless you. All right, so today I'm going to be talking about that time my pastor lied. He testified. He didn't testify. He testified about him and his wife's new house. And this story matters because it speaks to pastors who really want the success. They really want the popularity, the celebrity, the growth of it all, and they're not even practicing what they preach. And it really hurts. It hurt at the time. It doesn't hurt now. But it hurt at the time because we really, really did trust our leaders when we were in the ministry we were in Mississippi. And we really did advocate for them. I mean, he was such an intricate part in so much of our lives because the teaching, the knowledge, the wisdom wasn't just spiritual, but it actually was like life principles. A lot of the things that we learned entrepreneurial wise and desires to be entrepreneurs did come from his teachings overall as a man, not just a man of God with scripture, but he did advocate for, being fruitful and having abundance and prosperity and reaching and being in the marketplace, which a lot of pastors don't teach that. They're not heavy into teaching their members to actually have a presence in the world through marketplace, through the marketplace, and being visible in taking over these spaces, right? And so a lot of people don't want to pursue wealth and riches because they feel like it's demonic. Whatever. And so he didn't teach that. He didn't believe that wealth and any of those things were wrong. He was a huge advocate for it. And the funny thing about it is that my husband and I were like some of the biggest manifestors of this stuff in the church. And we were young. We were super young. We were like 22. But we had like no limiting beliefs, and we didn't have the hurt that a lot of older church people usually have that keeps them from thinking a lot of things are possible. We were kind of fresh to it. Even though we were raised in church growing up as children, we were kids, so we didn't really take on the pressures and the punishment of church that our parents did. So we didn't have a lot to chip away from as far as what could actually happen. We believed and we took his word as truth that these things were real and that we could believe our way into certain successes and certain realities, and we did, and we still continue to this day. And so we were outwardly manifesting a lot of things at this time in our life. And he was, a huge advocate for affirmations. They were spiritual affirmations, but he would print out like all of these affirmations, spiritual affirmations, and we would read them by the folder, by the binder, y'all. And it was good. It was good practice. I still do affirmations to this day. Every morning, honey, over 60 affirmations, your girl does them. Okay? Not does, but does. And so, I do them. He was a huge proponent in that. And I appreciated that mindset and those principles because they actually mattered. And they helped with shifting the mindset about what was possible. But he was out here lying. So I don't know if he was actually believing what he was teaching because it wasn't actually coming to pass for him. But we wouldn't know that until after we left. So let's get into the story. So at the time, my husband and I were living in this small home where the utilities cost more than our rent. It was trash, okay? And it was a struggle. We were low-key struggling. Nobody knew it was hard for us to keep up with our bills at the time. We didn't have that much stable income. I was the only one working a stable job while my husband was teaching himself how to build websites and create magazines and all this other ish. Thank God he taught himself those skills because now they pays the bills. But at the time, they weren't paying no bills. And it was just him and I. And so we were living in a home that wasn't the nicest, but it was only like $600 a month. Lord, where are the prices on these houses now? It was only $600 a month, but we were struggling to pay that $600 rent. I mean, it was a struggle to pay that rent, y'all. And I think we were like grossly past due on the rent too. Like we were like 2 or 3 months behind. Anyway, nobody knew. Nobody in our church knew. We were still tithing. We were still giving and all of that stuff. Like it wasn't even our reality. And at the time, our pastor was actually, teaching a series on like being outwardly oratory about what you wanted to see happen, like speaking things into existence. So that was something that he was teaching and talking about consistently. And so my husband and I were doing that. Like we were doing it, but it wasn't always a big enough breakthrough to where we could get out of the rut. And I'll never forget, our pastors came, one Sunday we had church and he gave this amazing testimony about how they got this beautiful over $500,000 house in a prestigious neighborhood in the city. And the owner just really blessed them with it. Yes, that's what he said. The owner blessed us with this house. Okay. Now it was way more dramatic and over the top. That Sunday was off the chain. Like everybody was so happy because we're like, oh my goodness. Yes, God. Like we're excited because we're like, God, if you're doing it for them, you can do it for me too. Like, whoa, don't miss me. Don't skip me, baby. So we were super excited and amped. And so he's giving this testimony about how, they didn't ask for their income tax because his wife was pretty much the sole provider on that side because she had her own business. And so he was just giving the testimony as if though it was so miraculous. Like it was miraculous how they came up on this over $500,000 house and how big it was, how huge it was, the updates, the appliances, how it was just sick. So we're just sitting there like, what? Like, my heart is beating. I'm like, God, this is so awesome. Lord, you are so good. Oh my God, I feel crazy now. But I was just overjoyed for them. And that was real. And that's what I never will I'll never dispute or go against anybody in church who has genuine, authentic feelings of joy and peace for other people or themselves in their belief, because that works for you. You may be in a situation that's toxic as far as the church environment goes, but if your intentions are real and authentic, you're still going to get what's meant for you because you're real. You truly believe that that's going to be a benefit for you. And so I was authentically happy. My husband and I were over the moon. So he's telling us all this stuff. They didn't check our taxes. They didn't ask for check stubs. We were approved without all of this credit stuff, whatever. So we're like, Lord, this is miraculous. There's nothing else that could be that would make this happen like this for them. So all of this stuff, elaborate description of the house and all of the things. The courtyard is right up against the lake, and everybody got their own rooms, and it's like a 6-bedroom house. It was a beautiful home, y'all. No lie. It was beautiful. And so in the week to come, my husband actually got to go and help them move in. Because, my pastor was like, hey, we're going to need some men from the church, to help me, get everything moved, because we're selling our current home or renting it or something like that. And we're going to need to be out into the new house. And so I was like, oh my goodness. So I wasn't going, because I wasn't moving a team, okay, for the Lord or for the man. I wasn't doing it. So I didn't go that night. But when my husband got back home, he was just telling me about it. Like, he was just explaining it, describing. He's like, Christian, it's just hard to even put into words, like how beautiful it is in the courtyard. Like right after you walk through the front door, you don't actually go into the house. You walk into a courtyard. There's like an open area that you can sit in and entertain or whatever. Then you can go into the house, and it was beautiful. It was a mansion. It was a beautiful home, y'all. No lie, Mississippi was really giving what it was supposed to give with this house. And so when I did finally get to go, which was like a week, no, not a week, but like a day or so later, he had invited us over for dinner and to help unpack whatever. And so, because we were really close to them, which is why I'll never get close to another pastor again. But we were really close to he and his wife. And I kind of think they looked at us as their children, because we were the same ages as their children. Like, actually, his sons graduated with my husband from high school. So we were the same age range as their children. So I think they looked at us as little proteges, if you will, little mini-me's, but we didn't want to be mini-thems. People have never cared about that, though. I don't get it. It's very weird. So we got to go. We had exclusive access. Like, he actually gave us a key to the house. Now that I think about it, he gave my husband a key to their house, to that beautiful big house. And so we're there. Like, he's like, oh, I'm gonna get some steaks and put them on the grill and put these baked potatoes in this. He had one of them new it wasn't an air fryer, but I'm giving y'all too much detail. But this is what really happened. So we go over there, and in this beautiful home, I'm walking through this house like, God, this is beautiful. Oh my goodness. I'd never seen anything like it. And I was so happy for them. I was so happy. So happy to be connected to someone who was living this dream. And again, this is all going on while we're behind on rent. We don't have what we need to pay our bills and to do what we need to do. We're struggling, like, just to be flat honest. And there was no envy or bitterness or resentment or anything like that, because in my mind, I'm like, dang, if I'm seeing this manifested for this person that I'm so close to, it wasn't a pastor prayed for us to get something. We didn't even ever mention ourselves. We just knew, like, there's more, there's better, there's greater, and we shall have whatever it is we desire. That's always been my prayer and my confession as an individual. God, I don't want what anybody else has. I want what you have for me. I don't want nobody else's life. I do want the life that you have for me. I want the life, the good life, the fruitful, abundant, surplus-based life, right? Like, abundance is my portion, surplus is my source kind of life. I don't want what nobody else got. I don't want that. I want what I want. I want what you want for me, which is a lot. I know that, okay? So I was looking at it, and I was just happy for them. And I remember that night I went home, and I listened to some worship music and praise music, and I was in my little living room tearing up that flow, child, just dancing and just so excited. I was overjoyed. And a couple of months would go by that my husband and I actually would get a home that was amazing. It was beautiful. I think our pastor's home was like 6,000 square feet in the home. We ended up getting was like 4,000. Now, the house we were living in before, and I'll have to do a video about how we manifested this house because it was out of this world bananas. the house that we had lived in where we could barely pay the $600 rent, it was like 900 or maybe a 1,100 square foot house. It was small, problematic, had roaches. Not gonna lie to y'all, there was a mouse in there at one point. It was bad, y'all. It was bad. And we moved from that house into a 4,000 square foot home that had an in-ground swimming pool. It was just my husband and I. And the only thing that had changed at that point was our income. And we went from not being able to pay $600 in rent to having a $1,500 like rent payment, because we didn't buy this house. It was a $1,500 rent payment in less than like 2 months' time. We went from being behind on rent to paying like triple the rent with no problem. Paying rent early, because that's how much things shifted in our lives. And so I accounted that to the beliefs. Like, we believed that we could have the great things, the blessings, and we sowed and we gave not out of fear, but we gave out of love. We gave out of joy and abundance to a lot of things, like not just in church, but overall. My husband would just sacrifice his time, build websites for other churches and ministries, for small businesses in Mississippi. We really did sow a lot. And it wasn't to get anything. It was honestly because we understood our value as individuals, and that whatever we wanted, we would always have it. And so after seeing their home or whatever, we actually did end up getting the home that was our dream home. It was beautiful. And I'll never forget this. When our pastor came over to see our house, now they're already in this beautiful mansion that they didn't test a lot about. I'm going to get to the test a lot. They already in this big, beautiful mansion that they've testified about at church. But we invite them to come see our home. He's looking at our home and he's like, if I would have seen this before y'all found it, we would have got this house. Bro? What the fuck? What? He said what he said. I heard what you said, and what you said was some bullshit. That's what he said. The man, the 49, 50-some-year-old man told me and my 24, 25-year-old husband that had he seen the house before we found it, he would have gotten it. So you are in your miracle mansion. What is you talking about this house for? You got 2,000 extra square feet. Why are you talking to us about this home? Okay, should have been the first red flag, but it wasn't. It wasn't the first red flag for us, because when it's somebody you adore and pretty much idolize, you don't catch the red flags. You don't catch the envy or the slight shade or whatever. We just took it as a compliment. Like, dang, it's a nice house, right? Like, this man is in a 6,000 square foot home that him and his wife just got pretty much free and clear, according to him. Bought a house, a mansion, and he's looking at our house, admiring and saying that if he had a saw, he would have moved in here instead. So it was kind of like, what do they call it when you're not admired, but, oh my goodness, now that's going to piss me off because I can't think of the word. But anyway, you feel good, okay? And I'm going to figure that word out. But I feel good. I was like, dang, okay, that's good. Then we got a nice house if he's saying that. But it really should have been a red flag of, why is he saying that? Like, you should have what you want and we got what we want. But that wasn't it. So it would be about a year and a half later, a lot of other things would fire off for us that would be good. We would get promotions on our jobs. Courtney would come on full time on the radio network that we were on in Mississippi and make the most money that he'd ever made in Mississippi. And that was our first time having a two income household where we were completely stable financially. Like, it was abundant. It was a great season for us in life. And so we ended up leaving the ministry due to the situations that transpired, and he and his wife not handling it well. And we were like huge assets to that ministry. We were very much an intricate part of that ministry, from the media to the music to support logistic wise, my husband with information, resources, access, and all of that. When we left, it kind of did cripple the ministry, where other people that wasn't doing nothing, carrying their weight, they now had to pick it up and figure out what Courtney and Christian was doing, because we weren't there anymore. And so a couple of months passed and somebody had told me that they were moving out of their house. And I'm like, they moving? Where they going? They got a smaller house in a neighboring city. And I'm like, okay, so they put the house up for sale? And so, sure enough, I ride by the house and there's a for sale sign in the yard. So, Inspector Christian, I looked the house up online. Y'all want to know what I found? When I found the listing on the website, on the realtor website, it said that the last time the house had been purchased, y'all ready for this? The last time the house had been purchased was 2009 when it was built. You need to know that the year that this man said that they bought this house was in 2013. You know what that makes him? A liar. If a home's listing says that the last time it was bought was when it was built, you didn't build it. You told us at church that you bought it in 2013. But according to the listing, it says it wasn't bought since the lot was bought in 2009. Who lying? You a realtor. Okay. Number one. Number two, that's not enough for me. That's not enough for me. No, I wasn't still at the church, but your girl got to get answers because I just wanted to know just how much of a liar he was. I just needed to know at that point how much of a liar he was. And, flattered. That was it. I should have felt flattered that he liked our house early when I couldn't figure out the word. Come on. Rain down on me. I needed that answer because I wasn't going to sleep. So I called the company. I called the agent that was on the house because I was going to act like I was interested in it. So I put on my little southern accent, child, and I told her we were interested in seeing the house, and we currently live in Memphis, and we're thinking about moving down that way, and we saw this house online, and it's beautiful, and we're going to sell our property here, and we're looking to move down there, be closer to our parents and our children, for our children to be around our grandparents, whatever. So the woman was really nice, and I asked her some questions. At first I started with some, because in my mind I'm like, I want her to think that I know nothing about this house, so let me ask some questions. So I asked her some questions about the acres and, some of the amenities and whatever. And she was really nice on the phone. She answered all of my questions. Then I asked her, I said, well, I see online it says the last time the house was bought was in 2009. Was the house, has it been vacant all of that time? Baby, she was like, no, ma'am. She said, no, ma'am, it hasn't been vacant. So there was a couple that was leasing it, that was renting it, and they moved out. And so the owner is putting it up for sale because she actually lives in Florida now. And so she wants to sell it. What? Her face saying, what now? What are you saying? What are you saying to me? She don't know that my pastor lied. She don't know that he stood up there on the stage, because it's not a pulpit. She don't know this man stood on that stage and lied to me and my church families. She don't know. 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 She didn't know. That's why she gave me the answer she gave me. She gave me the answers that I needed. This man had lied to us, y'all. Gave us a test to lie in church. Had us jumping up and down and playing the drums and the cymbals and shit and keyboarding it up. You lied on Jesus. You lied on God. You said God bless y'all with this house in a miraculous way. Y'all didn't have to give, of course y'all didn't have to give your damn tax returns. Of course, that's the home buying process, ninja. Y'all was renting. Y'all did the same thing we did. You need to show income validation. You need income verification. You need references. Yeah. He ain't had it. He ain't have to do that. he ain't have to get no tax returns. He ain't have to show no bank statements. He just had to show proof of income. You feel me? So you got up in church and you lied. Now I'm no longer a member and I'm getting this information. But again, I'm good old Christian. Christian means to be Christ-like. I ain't never blasted a man. Blasting him right now in this video though, because I got time and you shouldn't have lied. When I tell y'all that pastors be out here pastoring, when I tell y'all these shepherds be out here sheeping, I don't even know what that means. They out here fleecing the flock just to put something out there. What really bothered me, because I was a psychology major, y'all have to understand, I go deeper than the surface when I get certain information. My mind start going deep, like, dang, I wonder if his wife was in on a lie. I wonder if she went through the process with him and knew that once he got up there in that pool, on that stage, and said they bought that house, was she sitting over there knowing he was lying to us too? That's deep. It's deep. And I say it's deep because of the relationship my husband and I have. We don't lie for each other or on each other or to each other. Well, shit, I ain't lying to him. I don't know. I can't speak for nobody else. I believe he ain't lying to me. But I can tell you right now that if that was us and we were renting a home and then you wanted to get up and testify that we bought it, I'd be like, Courtney, don't do that. Courtney, you could definitely tell him that the Lord blessed us with a house, but I probably would have been sitting over there like this all while he was telling it. Like, you don't have to worry about me because I'm not finna play along with that. We in it, and the bitch nice, but we don't own it. Because what did it do? You could have told us y'all were moving into a new house. We didn't have to know if y'all bought it or not. You wanted to add something extra on it to do what? Increase our faith? Well, thank God for the lies, because it actually did increase my faith to take us in our 500-something credit score, having asked us to get a beautiful $300,000 home that we didn't rightfully deserve by logic, right? Like we didn't rightfully fit into the place of getting the house that we got, and we beat out viable political figures. We actually beat out 2 higher up people in the city. We beat out the mayor's assistant, a dentist in the city, and a rep, somebody who worked as a state representative. We beat them out for our house. They had also put in applications to lease the house we ended up getting, and we were 24 years old, and the owner gave it to me and my husband, and all we did was have regular jobs. That was a miracle. We didn't have to lie about buying the home. It actually was a miraculous event that took place. So the lies that they actually told us actually gave us the energy and inspiration we needed. Like, dang, if the Lord coming through for y'all like that, I know he finna come through for us. And did. We really did believe and drum up that reality for ourselves. So my point here is that sometimes you're going to have some people that you think you should trust, and they're not worth 2 pennies rubbed together with hot, sticky gum in between. And you're not going to know they're not worth that until you've left their presence. But please believe me, they will have served their purpose while they're in your pocket. Because he was in our pocket, and he worked. He worked. And it wasn't until we removed ourselves from his presence and realized that there were some things that just wasn't tightly screwed in. He was not really a man of integrity or high moral standards. He don't know to this day that I know that he lied. I've told my husband, of course, I also told mama, because mama used to highly revere him and respect him too. And I was like, no, not in my house. He's a liar. He may be a man he may know the Bible, but I can tell you right now, he lacks moral integrity. So they're no longer in that house. That house has since sold. And I need y'all to know that your girl don't play about investigating. I'm going to look some ish up if I don't do nothing else. And I did that. And that just further proved to me that we made the right choice to leave that church when we did. Even while we were still in the city. I'm glad we left the church when we did. Because staying there, there's no telling what else he was lying about. We caught him up in more lies while we were there, but we had still stayed past those. This lie, though, I found out about after we had left. Unnecessary. Unbelievable. And a lot of people will be like, my pastor will never lie. Yes, he will. It's a man. We all will do it. We all have the ability to lie. Nobody's set apart. Nobody. Get out of my face with that. That's my story time. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. I'm not out here to expose the pastors, but I'm telling you, if you choose to do it, you also choose to become my content, and that's on who? LMNOP. So I am going to let y'all go. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this story time. If you did, drop down in the comments below and let me know. Like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We would love to add you to our 2 cents crew. Until the next video, we'll see you later. Bye.